Let's take a look at the fastest way to get through this SAT math question that deals with an equilateral triangle. Now, we need to start by remembering that the definition of an equilateral triangle is that all sides are equal to each other and all angles are equal. Big thing to remember in every single equilateral triangle ever, all of the angles are 60 degrees, right? Because we have three of them and we know that together they have to add up to 180. And if they're all the same, they're all going to be 60. And in this case, it tells us that our side length is 6 root 3. So again, equilateral, I'm going to draw my picture and I'm recognizing that this is 6 root 3 all the way around. And this question is asking me about my altitude. Now remember that altitude can only be considered the altitude if it is perpendicular or forms a 90-degree angle with the base. Now here, I now know that I have split my top or bisected it into 30s on each side. So I have now created a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And we have to remember that our 30, 60, 90 triangle is a set relationship that we should know. And in this case, if I draw out my 30, 60, 90 triangle, I've got 60 and 30. I'm going to keep those the same here. My relationship is x root 3, and 2x. So in this case, I'm recognizing that 2x is equal to x root 3. So x is going to be equal to 3 root 3. So I'm now going to plug that in to my x root 3 side. So that means I'm going to come through and I'm going to multiply 3 root 3 by root 3. And we get 3 times 3, which is going to give us an answer choice of 9. So a couple of things to keep in mind here is remember that our hypotenuse is always going to be our largest side. It can be hard for us to figure out 6 root 3 in terms of what that is, but we know root 3 if we use our calculator. It's approximately 1.7 as a decimal. So this is going to come through at approximately 10.7 for us. Sorry, 10.4. Let me make sure I do that correctly for you. All right, so we know that this has to be longer than our altitude in this case. Now, that doesn't allow me to eliminate any answer choices, but in some cases it might, and we want to keep that in mind. But I definitely want to recognize that my altitude is not going to be my hypotenuse. And I'm also recognizing this in this case that our shorter side opposite our 30 was our 3 root 3. So as soon as I figure out that that shorter side is also 3 root 3, I can go ahead and eliminate that. Now, again, if we're stuck between these two, we'd be typically looking for something that had that root 3 in it, right? Because this side is that x root 3. What we have to recognize is that it's already giving us a root 3 in that value, so we're going to be canceling that out. Make sure we recognize that this is multiplication and not addition. Otherwise, we could choose the wrong answer with B.